All right, today I want to talk to you guys about the Venus in Scorpio transit. Excuse me, sir. I just started recording. Can you chill out? As soon as I press record, he jumps up here and starts chatting. Excuse me, sir. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about the Venus Scorpio transit. It's kind of long overdue, but I cannot let the month end without addressing this because it's intense. It's been intense. So Venus moved into the sign of Scorpio on November 6th, and it's said to move out of Scorpio and into Sag on November 30th, but the effects of this transit um, will be felt probably well after December, because if you think of Venus of Scorpio, the sign of Scorpio, it's a sign of transformation. It's associated with the Phoenix. And that's all the more reason why I wanted to do this video too, because hello, Phoenix rising. It's Scorpio is, and I'm a Phoenix. I'm a Phoenix rising. My rising sign is Scorpio. So this transit has been quite intense for me as well, but I feel kind of like right at home in it because I that's where I live. I live in transformation, alchemizing, death, repeat, rebirth, and transform. So, and that's definitely what this transit is all about. It's about destruction, death. Think death in the tarot. It's also ruled. It's a card of Scorpio, ruled by Mars and Pluto. Um, Pluto, Mars and Pluto, because before they deemed Pluto not a planet anymore. So Scorpio was ruled by Pluto before it was deemed that it wasn't a planet, a real planet. And so then they assigned Mars to Scorpio. However, I associate both of them, Pluto and Mars, to Scorpio, as do others. So anyway, Pluto is a planet of destruction and um, some things that need to dissolve. Think the tower in tarot, the tower, and also death, which is a card of death and also rebirth. So, and with it being with Venus, with Venus being in this sign of death and rebirth and transformation, it's having to do with relationships and love. Venus is a planet of love and beauty and harmony and relationships. So it's undergoing a complete transformational makeover. Consider it like that. So we're going to talk about that. I pulled some cards for you guys. I sat with them. The cards that I pulled are completely appropriate and mirrors this transit really nicely. I pulled for you guys the Queen of Cups, the Five of Wands, and the Empress. You probably can't see that. And then the Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we're going to get into what all of this means for you guys and um, go from there. I also have a channeled message for you at the end, and I may pull a few more cards and then also end you with a uh, work your light oracle. So, what does this mean? First off, it's a very powerful, like again, very powerful, intense transit. The sign of Scorpio. When you think of Scorpio, it's very intense, mystical, very intuitive sign. So it's not it's it doesn't play when it comes to relationships, and it doesn't do surface level. Instead, it really drudges deep deep dives to dredge up all of whatever emotional baggage is buried. Um, Venus in Scorpio is known for triggering buried emotional baggage in order for it to bubble up to the surface, to feel it and transform it, release it and transform it. So it's not a surface level type deal, and it's not something that you have any control over. When you think of Pluto, it's destruction, so it's not very nice. It's not a very, oh, can you please remove that mask? It's like, no. And it rips the mask off. It forces people to um, be authentic, or be exposed. So what this will look like, well, first off, what the Venus in, before I get into any of the cards, what it looks like Venus in Scorpio transit, what you can expect, or what you've probably already been experiencing since it did move in to the sign of Scorpio on November 6th. So I'm a little late getting this out. I've been, I'm part of this collective too. I'm not exempt. So it forces emotional honesty. So you may be experiencing some of that in your relationships. Truth and intimacy. It encourages shadow work around love. And that often looks like a solitary thing. So um, when we're mirrors of each other though. So there's usually a catalyst to trigger whatever needs to come up, and then the shadow work that you need to do around it usually happens alone, where you, if you're able to, and go within and really, look at why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and allow yourself to feel what you're feeling in order to release it. If that means crying, if that means working it out, however you work it out. But it's known for burning away illusions. When I tell you, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me get to the rest. It forces you to look at where your desire, fear versus desire. Um, it intensifies that fear versus desire. Endings and beginnings in relationships. Where are you hanging on? Are you hanging on out of obligation, attachment, um, codependency, duty? Are you, if you're in a relationship that's not aligned with you, that'll all be exposed. So um let's see, so hence the endings and the beginnings, endings of cycles, and to prepare for the beginnings or beginning of a new cycle. So heart, really, it's heart-centered transformation. So anything associated with the heart, your emotions, relationships, love, it's going to be going under a whole transformation. So it's an opportunity to um, let the illusions strip away, see intentions, true intentions of others. It's an opportunity for our relationships to either deepen and intensify, or fall away completely and die. So, so that's the theme around Venus and Scorpio transit. It's not a very it's not a very fun time. Even though, Venus is a lovely planet of love and beauty and harmony. And Scorpio forces transformation, death, and rebirth. Not in that order. Not in that order. So it would be death, rebirth, transformation. There. So how this looks. Let's see, before I get into the cards. Um, yeah. Okay. So yeah. So how this looks with these cards that I pulled, and it mirroring the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is very scorpionic. It's all of the signs really are pretty intuitive in nature. I like to think that Scorpio is the most intuitive. I bet some other water signs would probably argue that. But I feel like Scorpio is one of the most intuitive signs, especially because it's not a surface level sign. It's very deep and mysterious and pierces through the veil type sign. But the Queen of Cups, she has emotional depth and is intuitive and nurturing. And so, what how the Queen of Cups comes into play is like uh, being more emotionally receptive. So you're in a state where you're able to allow yourself to feel these emotions and recognize them, and be more drawn to deeper connections. So you're more inclined to um, want to look beyond the surface and accept what you see as truth, and using your intuition and your inner guidance to navigate that and see. Um, the Queen of Cups is very sensitive to energetic shifts and can feel this transit on a really deep emotional level. Um, More aware, you'll be more aware of, again, hidden intentions and feelings towards you, and your own towards others in that is in fact. So so the Queen of Cups comes in and she says, feel everything, allow yourself to feel everything, allow yourself to face the truth, not run away from it, and be open to tuning into your deeper levels of self, and um, being open to having a heightened level of psychic senses or intuitive senses, being aware that you could be more sensitive to that and open to it as well. So instead of fighting it or ignoring it, paying more attention to it and actually honoring it. So that's that perfectly mirrors this Venus in Scorpio transit. And then how the Five of Wands comes in. The Five of Wands, is a card of conflict, and um, but in this scenario, it's more like an inner conflict where your those things are bubbling up to the surface for you to see it. That inner conflict, your desire versus what was it? Desire versus versus fear. If you're why what are your intentions in a relationship? Why are you attached? Are you attached out of fear, out of codependency, out of duty? But the Five of Wands is that internal conflict, and looking at those inner desires as well within yourself, and if your needs are being met. Are you are you happy in your situation? Also, it's that fire that's needed. Fire is in alchemy, it's purifying. So think of Venus and Scorpio bringing stuff up to purge, and then the alchemy is the actual fire to purify all that is false. So excuse me there if I was a microphone menace. So it's the emotional friction, internal conflict, it's tension. It brings up old wounds that you may have hidden, triggers, things that around jealousy, insecurity, tension, possessiveness, all of these things. Expect all of these things to surface if there's any of these things hidden beneath. Also, attachments to addictions, addictive behaviors, unhealthy sexual habits, and that could be addiction to porn. That could be um, whatever. If you haven't looked at my or listened to my last video, having to do with the chakras and the imbalances in the chakras, and how that can manifest in relationships, and how sin is synonymous with shadow and fragmentation, and um, how it shows up on opposite scales on the frequency, the emotional frequency chart, and how on one end of the scale, it's a on the lower end of the frequency, it's destruction, and on the higher end, it's creation, and closer to your higher self. So um, it's it's important to pay attention to where you are on that emotional chart, so that you can see, how you're vibing. Are you low vibing, or are you high vibing? And so, and one is closer to creation, one's closer to destruction, one's closer to your higher self, and one is closer to the devil. The devil, in not in the biblical sense, but in tarot, the devil represents toxicity, toxic behaviors, attachments, addictions, obsessions, stuff like that. So um, the Five of Wands is that alchemy to um, pay attention to that internal conflict, and use that fire to purge and burn away and purify, whatever is false. So, and then the Empress, okay, so the Empress is she embodies all four of the queens. She's the highest octave of them all. And of course, the Empress coming out is perfect because she's ruled by Venus. And it's a very grounded, earthy, abundant, creative, receptive, nurturing energy. She's very nurturing, and she creates everything she touches. If you can imagine, wherever the Empress is, there's abundance, there's growth, there's love, it's very open hearted, and she creates, and she doesn't have to try very hard. She's receptive to abundance. So she's pretty much abundance personified, if you will. So, and she's ruled by Venus, so she's very loving and nurturing. And because she embodies all four of the queens, it's a very balanced and grounded energy as well. And of course, um, so if you think of the queen of starting with the Queen of Cups here, it's bringing all of those emotions and all of the whatever to the surface, purging, purifying here with the fire. And then this is like the seed, the the rebirth, really. Think of uh what is it? Botticelli? Aphrodite. Aphrodite. Think of the birth of Venus, the picture of the birth of Venus. This is like the rebirth of that. That's like the after everything is cleared away. This is the rebirth. And then the Ace of Cups, of course, has to do with um, emotional new beginnings. It's like it's a total reboot and reset, really, of the heart, total upgrade of the heart. It's like a phoenix rising of the heart. So this being at the bottom of the deck, at the bottom of the deck is like the underlying energy. This is the aftermath in the hidden energy. Um, what's to come of it for the collective, and basically a total heart reset. So yeah, it kind of sucks, and it's very intense with that scorpionic energy, because it's like you feel things falling away. And especially if when if you're losing relationships, or having to let people go. I know for me it was like a switch went off. When they say masks fall off, or you see true intentions will be revealed, or exposed. For me it was like a switch just went off. And 3 weeks ago to this day, and it started with me waking up to a dream that I was going to be somebody was going to deceive me, and they were going to choose somebody over me, and realize their mistake right away, but I was already going to be gone. And in the dream I was gone, but I could see them chasing me or coming back, and me hiding and having to defend, not hiding, but like trying to get away and having to defend myself, um, carving a new path. I was literally in the dream carving a new path with some wand looking carving tool. Is bizarre. And that's how I woke up that morning. And that evening, it was like just like that. It was like my dream had come to life. And without me realizing, it was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. So, when it says, when it says, uh, emotional transformation, or, um, where am I? Uh-oh. When it says, authenticity becomes the only option. Okay, so here's what I didn't. Uh, People can no longer pretend. I mean, you could try, but it's like the veil drops and you see behind the masks. The masks drop. Again, they could try to be deceptive or to wear a mask, but even if it's innocent or innocuous, or people pleasing in a people pleasing type way, it's not if anything inauthentic. It's This transit really truly calls for authenticity. So even if that means exposing some ugly truths, or some intentions that aren't exactly pure, it's for your benefit and for the people around you. It's not just it's not just it's for everyone's benefit. Really, you know so under this transit, these are the main these are the main themes. One, people can no longer pretend, avoid, suppress, deny, or fake connections. So fake connections, how that can look is like future faking. That's a phrase I've been hearing, future faking. And it's where, someone pretends to be in a commitment, or uh, says they're in a commitment, but they act like they're not when you're not around, type deal. Or promise you something, and then, you know, n- just to keep you hooked, and then never deliver, stuff like that. Future faking, promising something in the future. It's like potential that there's no action being done to create that future. It's never going to come, type deal. So future faking. To me, though, the biggest example to that would be, um, being in a supposedly committed relationship, but somebody acting like they're in a knight of wands type energy. So if you don't know the Knight of Wands is kind of like a player type energy. And even if they're not even a player, but will act like it, they want to be a player, but in a committed relationship. That's an example of future faking. So, um, The veil drops, motives show, authenticity becomes the only option. Two, relationships transform or collapse. Um, and it really is it's a way to make way for soul aligned connections. What's no longer aligned with you is going to naturally fall away. So it's an opportunity for either connections to deepen and intensify, or again, dissolve. So uh, relationships transform or collapse. Is the soul aligned, or is this attachment? Again, duty based. Is it built on fantasy? Is it fear based? Is it codependent? Is it karmic? So, connections that are uh, soul deep and emotionally true, spiritually aligned, and transformative. It's an opportunity for these types of relationships to intensify and deepen again. Um, Three, the twin flame soulmate karmic cycles hit a turning point. Um, True soul connections awaken, telepathic bonds strengthen, dream communication becomes clearer, and spiritual clarity emerges around the relationship. So it's where there was once confusion, you get clarity. So those are some things to expect. And then four, people will feel more drawn to in-depth, or yeah, to depth, intimacy, and emotional honest relationships. No one wants small talk during this transit. No one wants superficial connections, or people pleasing. They want real connection, real presence, emotional vulnerability, passion, authenticity, and psychic resonance. So, this is why timing may feel really intense. It may feel like hearts are literally being rewired, because they are. They're they're getting rid of all that's false to make way for what's real, what's authentic. And okay, so five, old emotional cords burn away. Old attachments, outdated patterns, emotional debris, past relationship trauma, from partners or former partners. That's all. That's all releasing. That's all getting prepared to release during this time. That's what's dying away. Um, People may feel more nostalgic. They'll feel a little nostalgic, reflective, especially during these retrogrades. There's several planets. I believe Mercury, we're in the post Mercury retrograde shadow period, I believe. And then I believe Uranus and I want to say Neptune are both going direct. If they haven't already, they're going direct soon. I believe they were both in retrograde. So, and of course, retrogrades are all about, reviewing, re-examining, revisiting, um, reassessing, all the re's. So it's like going over emotional material that you've already been through to learn less, see if you what you've how far you've come, and if you're repeating any old patterns, what you've learned, um, any repeated cycles, a chance to recognize cycles that need to come to an end. So you may feel purgy, um, and a little more awakened to, you know, things that you felt that maybe seemed kind of foggy or unclear. suddenly become crystal clear. Think the Ace of Swords, having that mental clarity, like the blinders have just been removed from your eyes, type deal. 6, preparing for soul aligned relationships to form once Venus moves into a lighter sign. So that's why, even though it may be changing signs at the end of November, um, still expect to feel the aftermath or the results of whatever transformations settling well into December, and maybe even up to 3 months, but certainly into December. Um, so what you can expect after that with this Ace of Cups that was at the bottom of the deck, the Ace of Cups is a renewal in love. Whether that means new love, new soul contracts, new soul aligned relationships. Um, it's going to free up that emotional space for um, healthier connections, more conscious, more conscious relationships that are soul aligned. Again, deeper emotional compatibility, and that relationships that reflect your own new frequency. And this is something that will naturally, or you'll naturally be aligned to magnetize to you. It's not something that you need to search for, or I mean, you can if you want, but it's ideally it's something you would magnetize to you. Um, the Empress is, she doesn't chase, she's in a state of receptivity. She's a receptive energy. She's open to receive. And in return, she nurtures, she grows, she creates, she plants seeds, she grows the seeds. She is the womb of creation. So, and manifestation. So, the Empress and the Ace of Cups, that is the seed of the new love cycle. So the collective is being purified emotionally so that the next wave of relationships and soul unions can be real. This is a heart reset, a karmic purge, a timeline shift, spiritual recalibration. Everything that is not aligned with you, aligned with the energetic frequency of the Empress, will fall away. So that's our tarot in relation to this Venus Scorpio transit. The channel message, it's short, is: you are not losing anything that is meant for you, that is meant for your next chapter. You are shedding the version of yourself that settled, dimmed or denied your truth, dimmed your light or denied your truth. Do not fear the emotional intensity. It is the medicine. Let the emotions move through you like water. Let the truth rise. This cycle is clearing the heart so that real love, real connection, and real purpose can root themselves in you. Trust the fire, trust the release. The new beginning comes after you surrender the old story. And it was 222 on the clock as I wrote that. And of course, 222 is angel number for alignment, balance, unity, um, relationships in unity, so, and harmony. But again, mainly balance and alignment. So don't cling to what is falling away. The space clearing is intentional. What is no longer aligned cannot stay. So um, I like to think of the Wheel of Fortune and the world especially. The world, I swear, has been coming out so much in almost every spread. And the world, just like the Wheel of Fortune, is um, ending, or well, the world is endings of a cycle. And the Wheel of Fortune is also, you know, the wheel turning. So turning into the next, shifting into the next. And both are related to fixed signs. So very much so scorpionic in nature when you think it. So the fixed signs, it's Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. So for me, it's been quite intense. I'm just hanging on for the ride and going with the flow because I'm not resisting anything. I know life doesn't happen to me; it happens for me. So whatever isn't in line, whatever is brought to the surface for me to see, I'm not in anybody's denial and seeing it. I'm thank you, thank you, Spirit, for showing me that truth, and then you can do with it what you will, and just go with the flow, let it fall away, so that something real can come into fruition. And I'm a Leo sun, so, and then a Scorpio rising, so this is affecting me doubly with me having two major placements in these signs, um, in this, I mean, in this energy. So that's all I have for tarot. I want to leave and pull an oracle for you guys from Work Your Light Oracle. See what comes out. Actually, let's pull one more tarot too. Thank you guys. The highest vibrational frequency for the highest good of all, with truth, love, and wisdom. What guidance do we have for the collective? Just see what comes out. I'm so sleepy right now. I had a big salad and like a baby, I'm incredibly tired. All right, one more shuffle for the collective. There we go. Six of Pentacles. Oh, two came out. Oh, nice. Okay, Six of Pentacles and 10 of Cups. That's wonderful. So Six of Pentacles is about balance and reciprocity. Um, and that's like we said, a recalibration. It's a recalibration, a reset, and one with balance. In anything, you want balance. You don't want anything to be, you know, I've mentioned it before. If it's too much logic, if it's too much in your head and too much logic, it's too rigid, it'll break. If it's too much heart and, you know, not enough logic or not enough Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords type energy, then it's kind of naive and leaves you open for heartbreak, or overgiving. So reciprocity and balance is what the aim is. So that's great to see. And then of course, 10 of water in this is the 10 of cups, and that's emotional fulfillment. So when you're in alignment, when you have relationships that you're in alignment with, then it's emotionally fulfilling. It's not a constant struggle or Seven of Swords, sneaky, avoidant, illusionary type energy, or Five of Swords type energy, or Ten of Swords, stab you in your back type energy, or even a Three of Swords, you know, break your heart type energy. Soul alignment is emotional fulfillment. So how you can tell if you're not in alignment is to pay attention to how you feel, your triggers, and how it makes you feel. Oh, what I didn't mention is the Empress. You know, that that energy, the energy of the Empress is also in the embodiment of power and a renewed sense of self-worth and beauty and just really feeling good about yourself, you know. um it's like feeling the pressure build up and then release, and then that renewal, the water, like imagine like that, the water from that Ace of Cups being like the emotional renewal. So it really is like, feels like dropping 10 of the 10 of wands, and it sitting in that hurt for a while, and it still hurts, it's still disappointing and hurtful, but at the same time it's transformational, because there's things that revealed in myself too that I didn't that I needed to look at, wounding within myself that allowed me to accept certain treatment or certain things to go on, that chipped away at my self-worth, at my, w- what wasn't aligned with my values, you know. So it really had me look at myself, and that's the whole point. It's not to point fingers and to say, well, this person did this person, blah blah blah. People can only meet you where they are, and but it's about looking within and you being the authority in your life and saying, oh, okay, that's what I've been dealing with. That's what I've been allowing. Why have I been allowing this? What is it within myself where I feel like it's acceptable to accept that? And now moving forward, I know my worth. I know that I am worthy of a reciprocal love. I'm worthy of loyalty and commitment if those are the things that I desire. And if somebody's not willing to do that or give that or pretending to do that and give that, then it's not in alignment, and let it go. But once you see the truth, it's like, okay, well, now you can act from that point, from a point of clarity, and not deceit. But also, where were you deceiving yourself? Where was I deceiving myself in any of these situations? And so it's it's not about pointing fingers or blame. It's also about looking within and finding your own role. All right. So now I'm going to end you with an oracle. So, all right, Spirit, what message can we leave the collective with for guidance for their highest good of all? There we go. The initiation, a couple. Okay, so we got two cards again. Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? Perfect. Again, pay attention to your triggers. What's triggering you? We'll read it though. Hello, sir. And then the second one that came out is the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Timeline shifting. This is timeline shifting. You have to get rid of these denser energies. These denser energies can't shift into higher frequencies. So whatever you're holding, 444 on the timer when I said that, divine protection. But what dense energies are you holding on to? Let it go, because you can't timeline shift with these into a lighter, higher frequency if you're holding on to denser energies. So I love that that came out. And again, this one doesn't have a number, so let me look at the, excuse me, page of contents. The initiation, this one is page 68. Okay. All right. Some of the most sacred initiation chambers and temples look scary from the outside, but are breathtakingly beautiful on the inside. This represents the journey that the soul pilgrim is required to take to reach somewhere sacred, but only the initiated can enter. Perhaps that's where you are right now. You are being tested, initiated because you are headed somewhere sacred. Initiations require that we cross the threshold from one world or state of being to the next. We are called to face what scares us and have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being, a safety, a security, a depth of meaning. Initiations, like rites of passage, mark the shift from one age to the next and can take place because of emotional turmoil, great loss, grief, or devastation. But it is through the seeming hardship that our heart cracks open and our spirit is invested to step forward. We take the sacred voyage into more of who we are and who we came here to be. It can be painful and scary, but once we begin the journey, we can be more ourselves than ever before. If you are in the middle of an initiation right now, you will get through it, and one day soon, you will bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open because the world needs you open. You are going somewhere sacred. It will be worth it, and you're closer than you think. Work your light activation, rite of passage, cross the threshold. Timeline shifting. All right, mirror. Who or what is triggering you? That's so aligned with the whole message. Let's see what page that is. Mirror. Oh, there it is. Okay. Mirror, 44. 44, another four. Y'all could be seeing 444. Y'all could be seeing fours. When I first started the message, I saw 444 on the timer. Okay. Mirror. The future. Hang on. The filter of our own experience is how we experience life 90% of the time, through our own projections. When someone reminds us of an unhealed experience, we get triggered. Often, it's an unconscious thing. People and situations can trigger our mirrors to reflect back to us what we believe to be true about life, the universe, and ourselves. Mirrors pointing to our shadow and our light. Mirrors revealing the parts of us that are yet to be accepted, witnessed, or loved. This card is guiding you to look closely at what experiences or people are currently in triggering in you and what they could be mirroring back to you. When have you felt like this before? Could they be opportunities to heal something in you? Or are they shining a light on something that longs to be witnessed in you? This goes for the good and the bad. The good, those who we admire and put on a pedestal. If we do not realize that we are attracted to them because we are like them, we will need to cut them down in order to rise to their level. The bad, those we despise, are envious of and put down. We do not realize that they trigger something in us, then it is still yet to be healed, and we will remain hurt and wounded ourselves. Work your light inquiry. Who or what is triggering you? These are questions to ask yourself. What is it in you that they are triggering? What part of you longs to be witnessed? So we are, look at this. We are mirrors to each other, and that's why it's important to pay attention to um, when you feel triggered by something, and recognize that um, it's not necessarily the fault of the other person. It's actually something within you that needs to be looked at. You know, we're only responsible for ourselves. We can't be responsible for the actions and behaviors of others. And you know, everyone's on their own soul journey. So excuse me, sir, I'm not sure what you're doing here, but you need to chill, okay? Chill. Thank you. I'm actually not at home right now. I'm dog sitting while the family's vacationing with family for the holiday. I wasn't invited. I'm okay with that. I'll dog sit. I'm and cat, and I have my cat. So I that something like that would have triggered me in the past, but I've already healed that aspect of myself, and now I'm healing other aspects of myself. So I need to be alone anyway. All right, y'all. That's all I have for you. If anything resonated in this message for you, feel free to let me know. It does help. I would love to know how it resonated, and it'll also help others, and it'll help the channel. If you're new, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you for returning, and thank you for coming back and watching. Feel free to come back again. All right, that's all I have for you. Keep on rising, y'all, and happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.